I got to tell you, when she's going up against a right-winger or a guy who's a bit of an asshole like Trump, I mean, Trump is a liar, but he does make up for it by being an asshole. And it's when she starts to be sympathetic, and I think that's her lane for campaigning. She should try to find a way to be that sympathetic. I'm always fighting somebody. This guy's coming. That's they got to figure out a way to do that when there isn't that right winger next to her on stage or grilling her. They got to figure out how to set that up, because even I'm telling you, I'm hardcore against Hillary Clinton and neoliberalism. But during that, I started to unconsciously notice that I was rooting for her. So that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, Jimmy, I really think you're onto something, and I hadn't thought of it that way. Because, I wanted her to attack Trump, and she did get under his skin a little bit about how much did your dad leave you or loan you, et cetera. I thought she had to lay out a vision for why you should vote for her. Like, where is she going to take us? What's her idea of change, et cetera? And on that point, it was just a laundry list of talking points. I wasn't impressed by it at all. I don't think it got through to people. But I hadn't thought of this thing of, she is far more sympathetic when attacked by the right wing, and that is when she's at her best. Like, she's got to find a way to set that dynamic up. These debates are perfect. Hopefully enough people pay attention. When he does the stupid attacks against her, some of the attacks are justified. Some of them are ridiculous. When he does the ridiculous attacks, a lot of people, I think, that wasn't fair, right? And that's not right. And so they wind up being on Hillary's side. Just like when the 11 hours of grilling that she got from the Republicans in Congress. Then a lot of people were on our side, and the polling went up because it seemed like they're unfairly attacking her. When Bernie Sanders did it, people thought, like, that's kind of fair. She does do all those things, right? That's why her poll numbers were going down. And by the way, he was effective, Sanders was. But, they said, he had attacked her too much. Now that you've seen Donald Trump and the Republicans attack her, do you think Bernie Sanders attacked her too much? No, he didn't talk about the emails. He didn't talk about any of that stuff. He didn't say any of the things that Trump said tonight. No, he barely, he made a real policy case instead of, the vicious attacks that the Republicans do. So maybe she finds that lane, Jimmy, where, she gets attacked in an unfair way and people have enough sympathy that it swings enough independent voters and she wins.
And she needs to also make the point that she's trying to make in her commercials about that Donald Trump sets a tone for the country, and little kids look up to our president. And she needs to bring up that he mocked a handicap reporter. She needs to bring that up every time that she's confronting him. She should say, I can't believe she didn't bring that up. And that's a winner. And everybody could go, there's videotape of that, of him doing that thing, making fun of that guy. There's videotape of it. That's horrible. And there's anybody who works with handicapped kids or has a handicapped kid or knows somebody who has a handicapped kid, that is a winner. So I don't care, again, even with all her, maybe she's saving that. Maybe she wanted to see how she did, and she's saving some of these attacks like Trump University and the handicap thing. But she touched on it, she went at, he ridicules Rosie O'Donnell. Nobody gives a shit that he ridiculed Rosie O'Donnell. Talk about what he said about Megyn Kelly. Talk about what he said about the handicap guy. Talk about that's what he needs. What he said about Muslims in the pretend videotape. Anyway, I just think it looks maybe she's holding on to this stuff and she was able to win without it. So maybe that's it. What do you think? Do you think she has all these on a list somewhere, all these things to hit? And if you hit this debate, don't worry, we'll hit them next debate? Or what do you think it is? Is there a checklist?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about that is that of course there's a checklist, and of course they've gone over 100 possible lines of attack against them. I think that it's a matter of just timing, and what she thinks of organically at that moment. Because she's not going to have recall on all 100 things. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, okay, that's the area where we're talking about how he's a bad person. I've got, with Trump, 87 things on that list. Let me pull out the best 3 or 4 based on the flow of this conversation. And she might not make the right decision, but then her handlers next time around will be like, okay, now remember points 5 and 28 were actually great, so let's try to use that in the next debate. And probably that's how it goes.